Oh, that's so loud.
Welcome to Unwanted Sound. I'm Jared.
I'm Radomir.
And you are listening to our 4th episode ever. And the only 4th episode we're ever going to have. How do you feel about that?
Nostalgic.
And we're talking to Peter Frederic Wallace. Peter, tell us about being a Universal comedian in Indianapolis.
No.
Well, I think this is interesting because as two grown men in Indianapolis, to add a grown man who is also a comedian, it tells a story, and I'd like to hear that story.
Martians here? Why are we referring to ourselves as we are all grown men? We're all Earthlings.
Well, what are our qualifications? What makes us something to listen to outside of anything else that you hear on a podcast?
And you want to hear two grown men in Indianapolis.
Well, no, our qualification is that we're two grown men in Indianapolis. That's about where it begins and ends.
It is. One time I was at an aquarium, somebody picked up a crab from a Touch Crabs interaction display thing, and the crab got flipped over and had really weird blue-red legs, and it looked freaky, like an upside-down beetle. And I was very
What color
upset.
did you want it to be?
I wanted it to be not at all shaped like that.
Or existing.
Yeah, I can't eat crab meat as frequently now because of what they look like.
There's some alien shit living on this planet.
Well, it lives here, so it's not.
We really need a LinkedIn account. We've been trying for it,
You're
but
on your 4th episode and you don't have a LinkedIn account?
We have a lot of social media outlets. We have
Twitter, SoundCloud, Instagram, Facebook, the other one.
Google.
We have a website.
A website
Right.
that can be found through Google.
Yeah, you could... we have a Google Plus page, right?
Yeah,
the one.
that's what I was talking. Google Plus.
And YouTube.
What's Google Plus?
Google Plus is like what somebody could have used instead of Facebook, but then Facebook adapted the circles ideology.
Do you think we should get a Tinder account?
Probably Grindr.
Yeah.
As the show, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so...
Both.
It's like someone... What do you call someone that...
You know what? Go with Bumble. It's classier.
What is Bumble?
It's for classy ladies.
Bumble is where you can match up with people, but only the lady can message.
Only the
first.
women can message first.
She's the one who initiates conversation.
And their opportunity window expires after like a couple of days. So if they don't make a move, then nothing happens.
It sounds like the exact opposite of Facebook.
Guess how much... guess how many dates you get off Bumble? 0.
0 dates.
I know a guy who got 2 dates off of
Well,
Bumble.
he's obviously much better looking.
He's way ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Do you do online dating, Peter?
A little bit. Not terribly successfully.
So you don't use Bumble?
I've gone on Bumble. I've played around with Bumble. I've gotten, I think, 2 matches.
People complain that my online dating profiles typically make me look like I make porn or have something to do with porn.
Want to make one.
Right.
Why is that?
It's because...
Are single people, do they watch a lot of porn so they're automatically thinking about it already?
Well, I think when you find somebody with long hair and a mustache, as my pictures have me looking to be, who talks about making short movies, that's the sign I'm told now.
Do you put in all caps? Not porn.
I'd like to, but I was advised rather to have no discussion of short movie making. And also to take down the pictures of me with long...
No, it's like it's a nice added incentive. It's something to talk about.
Why
they
can't you
wouldn't
talk
know.
about your creative endeavors? The mustache, that's the problem. If you didn't have the mustache, no one would have
And the picture of me hanging out with Ron Jeremy doesn't help either.
Okay, well,
I've
there's
stopped
that.
putting that up.
Put it in the profile. You're not going to describe your movies in the profile. That's something they say, ooh, this guy makes his movies. I want to go out on a date with him. I can ask him about his movies.
I can be in his pornos.
I can be in his pornos.
Right.
But you're going to put not porn. In other parentheses, like maybe brackets, you could put yet. I'm open to it. What are you up to this weekend?
What does it pay?
See, then, yeah, exactly. What does it pay? What are the incentives here?
So I'm making movies, but I want to know what porn pays.
Yeah.
That's
doesn't-
good.
I don't
That
think it
makes
pays
me
anything.
so completely distant from the porn that...
Yeah. If you were making porn, you already know what it pays.
Correct.
Zilch.
Maybe.
Our listeners, they don't judge.
Well, then how would they know whether this is a good show or not?
They won't.
They don't
that's
judge
it.
because they don't exist.
Yeah, there's that.
I talked to a listener yesterday.
A listener of
I talked to a
podcast.
listener.
Oh, of the
I mean,
show.
that's just a anyone who
Everybody's
you
a-
ever speak to and they have any kind of reply.
Well, some people are bad listeners, but they're still listeners, right?
What?
Huh?
He was excited about the show, and I asked him if he'd like to be a guest on it. He said he may not have time.
Like,
Is my experience not typical?
I think that it actually isn't typical, and here's why your experience isn't. Because we have no other comedian for comparison. Right. So you have to explain your experience, and that's all we have.
And then you're going to base everybody's experience on that.
Right.
You assume that that's the average experience. I mean, for one thing, I got into it much older than most people do. So that's atypical. So I'm not really... There's a whole lot of camaraderie with comedians. It's a bonding thing, but because I'm older, it's, there's the comedian thing that makes us alike, but there's also a point where if we're not talking about comedy, I don't really have anything to talk to these children about a lot of times, But,
they have different interests. It's almost a generational gap.
Yeah, there's a generation gap, and it's just whatever. I'm also kind of a loner anyway. So,
yeah.
You
don't have like back pain in common with them, possibly?
What are you implying?
I have back pain sometimes, and so maybe if you have back pain, we could talk about our back pain.
Okay, is this a back pain podcast? All right.
Could
be. Are you suffering right now?
No, but I was in a car accident and my upper back started hurting.
Have you had anyone look at it? Have you been to
yeah, I went to a
specialist?
I went to a place and they told me that because I'm out of shape, the back injury
They won't do anything for you.
Well, they tried and it was okay, but they said the back injury is worse for me being out of shape. And they recommended that I get into shape so that my back can get better.
And how did you feel about that advice?
I was thinking about getting into shape.
How long ago was this accident?
Almost 3 years now. I've been thinking about
You've been thinking about it ever since.
It's a big decision.
It is.
It's not fun. As three fat fellows, we can all attest to that. Now, Jared's had some success in trimming down over the past couple of years.
I guess.
I think you said that your secret was not eating like an asshole.
The secret to any diet is it's an easy 2-part diet. Step 1, exercise sometimes.
Right.
You just need to sometimes exercise.
Don't be a complete lump of shit.
Step 2, don't eat like an asshole, right? And that means take reasonable portions, stop eating when you're full, maybe don't eat high-calorie foods.
Yeah.
Constantly
in mass.
Right.
I stop eating when I'm full, but I still eat high-calorie food. Pardon?
What's the fun in that? It's like extreme sports. The people who go out and they push themselves to the limit, doing Ironman competitions and rock climbing and all that shit.
Right, I used to do that.
That's all overeating is. It's just an extreme, let's see what the limits of this body, let's see where this fucking thing can take us.
Now, have you ever been in like an eating competition?
I've never done that.
You haven't?
It looks stupid to me.
I want an eating competition.
That would take all the fun out of overeating for me.
Because now it's a competition.
Yeah, now it's competition.
I found a way to make it
What if
work.
you were the best at it?
On my time.
But if you were the best overeater?
See, I've never been one who needed accolades or trophies or recognition for being the best.
Oh no, all you get is a t-shirt.
Oh wait.
So all you get is a t-shirt?
That's it.
You get a t-shirt? I didn't get a t-shirt.
You get a t-shirt and, we'll supply the puke bucket.
I got none of that. I was in
Did you get to take the puke bucket home with you?
No, unfortunately. I mean, it's just, that comes from corporate. Right. We wanted to let you do that, and corporate says no. It's a liability.
The shirts come in only small and medium.
What's that? I've been in one eating competition in my life. I'll try anything once.
What was the item?
It was a 1-pound burger and a pound of fries.
That doesn't sound that hard.
It's not that hard. It was a timed event.
Oh.
Yeah.
How long did you have?
I think it was somewhere around 11 minutes.
Okay, that's a lot to eat in 11 minutes.
It's a lot to eat in general.
Yeah.
So the competition...
Yeah, if you spread it out over an entire day, it's not that much.
I mean, essentially the rules of any eating competition are eat like an asshole, right?
Right, but quickly.
Right, and through your mouth.
Yeah. I watched a 6'7", 400-pound dude compete in an eating contest. He was supposed to eat a 1-pound burger and some fries in about 15 minutes. And he finished it and he ordered a second. And then he ate the whole 1-pound burger, the second one, within also that 15-minute time, but was still munching on fries by the time the 15-minute period ended.
So did he lose or win?
The competition was, if you do this, you get the burger for free. So he didn't pay for the first one. I think he didn't pay for the second one or something, but he didn't finish the fries, so he might have paid for that second one.
Did he tip on what the cost of the burgers would have been, or did he tip on just the fries?
I didn't stay to find out. I had to go.
So you came to us with an incomplete story.
Yes.
About a 7-foot-tall man. How tall?
6'7". I mean, he's close to 7 feet.
7 feet would be better.
I have to say, I feel like the whole purpose of that story was to one-up my 11-minute 1-pound burger, 1-pound fry story.
Let's face it wasn't that hard to one-up. How tall are you?
6 foot tall.
Are you?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We should.
You are not.
Yes, I am.
You're
We should
like
go,
5'11" or something like that.
No, I'm not. I'm 6.
5'10" and a half.
6 foot.
Do you have? Is there a ruler around here?
Why
Or
would
is
you
tape
believe that? I am
Why is there a
absolutely 6
six-
foot tall.
Why is there a 6 foot ruler here?
Hold on. Yeah, I'll find a
Tape measure?
Take a while.
You
We should
have-
go and.
you have,
here you go.
joined us on
Here's a
how
ruler.
tall are you?
That's just a ruler.
Yeah.
It's okay. We'll just mark it off.
Yeah. Do you have ruler and a
Within
Sharpie?
an inch. Hold on.
So, Peter, how tall are you?
5'8".
Cool.
Short man.
I'm between 5'9" and 5'10",
Are you?
but closer to 5'10".
Are you? You don't seem taller than me. Are you lying about your height, or am I taller than I think?
You could be taller than
I
you
don't think
think.
I am.
You're wearing boots, and I'm not
I am.
wearing boots. I didn't pay attention to height when you walked in.
Well, I'm not getting up now because I don't want this to turn into a competition.
We should record a podcast
slouched
at an
in my
eating
chair,
competition, don't you think?
At an eating competition?
Yeah, an eating competition podcast, a lot of grunting, eating noises.
I would just try to make them laugh so that the food comes out their nose. Yeah, I don't want to do an eating competition. But you guys want to do an eating competition, I'd be happy to referee it.
What? Oh, that would be good. What about, though, cottage cheese and pineapple eating competition? It's cool.
I don't think I could watch that.
It's cold, and it feels nice in your stomach. You can eat a lot of it, and it's delicious.
Oh, it looks so gross.
Cottage cheese
Cottage
and pineapple.
cheese, I can't.
Cottage cheese and pineapple eating competition.
Oh no.
I have a tape measure.
All right, so Jared is now measuring his own height to prove that he's 6 feet tall.
It's right here.
All right, do we count his hair?
No, we're at
Because-
71 inches.
How tall am I supposed to be? There.
72 would be 6. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's about 71 and a half inches.
That's not
Try
6
this,
feet
try that.
tall. Yeah, and you're giving him
Okay,
credit for his
okay.
hair. And
Yeah,
now
he
he's
could
lengthening his spine.
Yeah, he could stretch.
Keep those heels flat on the floor,
Flat
my
on
friend.
the floor, friend.
Make sure that
Flat on the
take
floor.
your socks off. How
Flat
thick
on
are
the
those
floor.
socks?
Socks.
How thick
Look,
are
I'm
those
looking
socks?
straight ahead. No. Keep that there.
Okay.
Where's the straight edge? Let's find the top of my head. Because I've measured myself. I have not gotten shorter.
That's
Lean your head forward.
Oh, okay. Wait. Here we go.
Now lean your head forward.
This is exactly 6
He's
feet.
got an angled
I
head.
told you.
Yeah, put
Lean your
lean your
head
head forward. You gotta.
I don't understand what
See,
you
now
want
with the
me to
head
do.
forward, we're over 6 feet. What do we do
Alright.
about this?
All right.
So how tall am I?
6 feet and 1/4 inch.
Oh, I'm 6 foot and a quarter inch. What did I say?
6 feet exactly.
Oh.
Nice.
All
Why did you
right.
think I was short? Why did you think I was shorter?
I didn't, but it
Look at all
was
this
really
privilege.
hilarious how you ran out of the room to get a tape measure as soon as your height was challenged.
What?
How is it that a 6 foot tall guy can have that much lack of confidence in his height?
I didn't. That was only-
It's challenged in what I would consider just a sort of joking, silly, hey, we're having fun here
Well,
kind of way.
we can
He
do that
rushes
because
out of the room,
we're
pushes
not in the
the
6
lady
foot
down the
club. We
stairs.
don't know what the 6 foot club has, and Jared didn't want to be out of it.
What?
How would you be in there? You're not 6 feet.
That's what I'm saying. We don't know.
Oh, maybe
what,
he has a special club.
right.
Maybe there's something that he would not be eligible for.
Correct.
That we don't even know about. Some 6 foot privilege that they don't even mention to us.
Yeah.
Is that what it is, Jared?
I'd like to quit discussing this topic.
Okay. But now that the door's been opened, I want to know the truth.
Do you guys like pineapples?
Don't we all?
Pineapple and cottage cheese. I like pineapple just fine. It's the cottage cheese I have a problem with. I
I
don't
like.
think I could do the pineapple eating contest, though, because sometimes pineapple...
It gets stuck in your teeth. It makes your tongue burn.
It's not that it gets stuck in my teeth. It's like it irritates my mouth.
Yes.
It's like
It's eating you
very
when you're eating it.
acidic. Yeah, it's a very acidic... Wow.
You know what kind
That's
of...
a poetic way of putting that. Is that because you're not from this country that you use English in a poetic manner?
No, I think it's my ineptitude at speaking like a normal person.
How long have you been an American?
An American I've been since a week after Obama's first inauguration.
Now, did you ever consider adopting a more American name than Radomir?
No.
Like maybe Rudy?
That's pretty American.
Yeah,
Radomir's fine.
pretty American. I think un-American would be like Radomir the not American Yordanovich. That would be like how you...
Is that your middle name?
No, I don't have a middle name.
Well, that's un-American.
Is it?
Have you considered having a middle name?
Middle names, I believe, are from Roman Catholicism, and I don't know why you would want middle names in the U.S.
So do you go by Rad?
Some people call me Rad.
Yeah.
There was one guy who called me Rod and even texted R-O-D, but it's definitely R-A-D.
Yeah, you could be a Rodney. You thought about being a Rodney?
My mom told me I could be a Rodney.
You could be a Radney.
Oh, a Radney would be
Radney.
nice. I can't be Rodney because my mom suggested it, and I'm rebellious.
Or you could be a Rodney in Boston or Chicago or something like that. They would call you Radney.
Oh, from Baston? Radney from Baston? That would be cool.
Radney.
I wouldn't mind that. That would be fun.
The New England accent is easy if you say, I drive a four-door Ford, and you just kind of let the words lay on each other.
All right, do it.
I drive a four-door Ford. I drive a four-door Ford.
So you're specifically trying to be a
JFK.
kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, or Mayor Quimby.
Mayor. Yeah.
Right. I was watching the movie JFK on DVD. Somebody came by, looked at the DVD case, and asked, "What are you watching? What's JFK?" That's my story for today.
Were they making a joke?
It was serious.
JFK. Did you
What's
explain?
JFK? Did he know who that was?
No.
Oh, that's a real American.
A person once guessed that America's first president was Abraham Lincoln.
Who guessed that?
Whoa.
Here and there.
I'm sorry. Sometimes I hear people say things, and they're just so out of left field dumb that I just don't even hear it. Somehow I've trained myself to completely not hear that, but then I can hear it if I choose to then.
Sure.
This is what just happened. Did you say another grown man in Indianapolis believed that Abraham Lincoln was the first president of the United States?
Actually, she was a grown woman, not originally from Indianapolis.
There you go.
She was not originally from Indianapolis?
Right.
Oh, well, obviously not.
Does Indianapolis have a strong tradition of knowing the presidents?
I feel like most people here...
It's our number one.
Have you visited the Harrison
knowing the
House?
presidents.
Well, at least knowing who the first one was.
Right.
Right.
Abraham Lincoln.
James Madison, I think.
I've been to George Washington's house.
It's only nice.
Okay, we've all been to nice houses.
Which had nice house?
No, it's not so much what it was George Washington's
That's a historic house.
plantation, yes, and I saw where all his slaves were. And
what were they doing?
When I visited, there were no slaves, but where his slaves had been, rather. I saw where his slaves had been. They had been out in the fields. I saw those fields. They were okay.
What were they growing?
At that time, not much, just kind of field grass. It was a historic site, so you couldn't... I saw...
What did George Washington grow on his plantation? Do we know? Was it tobacco?
Cherry trees, right? Who knows?
We have to be inclusive.
A lot of that's lost in history.
There's no way of knowing, really.
I mean, really, with all the misinformation.
In the fake news.
What were we talking about?
How else do you relate to local comedians?
They seem fine. They're nice.
Cool. Good talk.
He's texting.
I'm not texting. I'm looking for one joke I wrote once. I actually can't find this joke, but I did write the beginning of it. It reads, "I have my gems every now and then, except for the one about..." I stopped writing right there.
I know, that's yours.
Well, this is Super Dave's joke.
All right,
this is not my joke.
All right, so if it bombs, it's his fault, right?
Two guys are at a bar, drinking a lot.
Wow.
Amazing. I like the short jokes.
Tough room. Two guys are drinking at a bar.
Guy gets so drunk he pukes on himself all over his shirt. And he's like, oh my god, my wife's gonna be so pissed that I'm coming home with puke on my shirt. His buddy says, don't worry about it. Here's $10. He puts $10 in his front shirt pocket. He says, take your shirt to the cleaner. You tell her I did that. They continue drinking. Guy goes home, opens the door. There's his wife. She says, oh my god, you're home drunk again and you puked all over yourself. He said, I didn't do this. My buddy did this. And she said, there's money in the pocket here so I can go get it dry cleaned. His wife says,
amazing joke.
His wife says,
the delivery's impeccable.
His wife says, there's $20 in this pocket.
And why would you say that unbidden?
Because he said, look in my pocket, there's money.
But he has to give the amount.
No, he doesn't.
It does for the punchline.
The wife says there's $20, and do you know the punchline?
Yeah. He also shit my pants.
He also shit my pants.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really write jokes. I don't really tell them either.
Yeah, don't relate them either.
I don't write jokes. I started writing one.
Yeah. You just stopped.
Yeah.
Before the joke.
I didn't know what the joke was.
Yeah.
Is that so that it always has potential to be funny?
No, I don't worry about those things. I just haven't yet written a joke.
Oh, really?
You have that. It keeps him going every day. Every day he's like, maybe I'll finish that joke today. It doesn't happen, but it's always something he's got. Something to aspire to in the future.
I do have my gems.
What happens when you do finish that joke?
Well, then I'll tell it like this.
You'll have accomplished it, and then you'll just be done?
I'll move on to the second joke.
Oh, okay.
So I have my gems every now and then, except for the one about this joke I haven't written. No? Good? Progress?
Well,
I'm feeling it.
it's got more words in it now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's a callback.
To itself.
To itself. So it's really...
It's pushing the limits of contemporary comedy.
All right, let's try it from the top. How's the joke go?
I have my gems every now and then, except for the one about.
I have my gems every now and then, except for this joke.
There it is.
That's
He
it.
wrote my joke.
And the time I shit my pants.
Well, that could be a gem,
Yeah, who knows?
depending on how long you
Depends on
sat
what you
on
ate.
it. Right.
Peter, do you have any shows coming up?
The third Tuesday of every month, I host storytelling at the White Rabbit, which is a place where grown-up people, both male and female, men and women, all
In Indianapolis?
4 categories in Indianapolis can go.
Excellent. You're hitting on all cylinders there.
Yeah,
It's great.
got the men, the women, the cylinders, all being hit. Every single one of them.
The Speakeasy.
The name is, it's called Speakeasy this month. It's going to be it's breaking up is hard to do. Every month at the White Rabbit. Storytelling. Right.
Every month at the White Rabbit, they do the Speakeasy. It has a
different theme each month.
Have you ever had an easy breakup?
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends on what you mean.
Yeah.
Well, I think
I've had a relatively easy breakup. My divorce was relatively easy considering how bad divorces can be. It was still difficult.
So we just had this 40-minute conversation that Jared deleted because he edits the show. Let's talk more about you being a comedian now.
What do you want to know? I got to leave in a few minutes. What do you want to know?
How did you get started?
Just how anyone gets started.
I'm not sure how that works.
Well, you sign up for an
baseline.
open mic and then you go up on stage and you try to make people laugh, and sometimes it goes well and sometimes it doesn't. Now, it's something I've always wanted to do and always talked myself out of for whatever reason, or just thought, oh, that's something I will do sometime in the future. I've got to work on other shit, blah, blah, blah. And then, I don't know if you know this thing about life, but it continues whether you're doing the shit that you want to do or not. It just keeps going. And so, at some point, the future came and I still hadn't done it. And then on my 34th birthday, I had a heart attack while visiting my future and now ex-wife while she was in the Peace Corps in Ukraine, and realized that the future was not a guaranteed thing, and started writing a whole bunch of material while I was in the hospital. And when I came back, I started going on stage. So I had to almost die to get myself into comedy. But
Wow.
that's why I can never be unhappy about my heart attack, because if it had never happened, I probably still wouldn't have gone to try it.
I mean, I'm glad that you're in comedy, but I'm not glad you had a heart
You're
attack.
also glad I'm not dead?
Right. So
Yeah, I don't regret it, especially since, it gave me a lot of material.
I hear that your first open mic that you do usually is not that good. You bomb,
It
right?
depends. I did fine on my first one.
You got some chuckles or some deep
I got
laughs?
some okay laughs. I don't really... It doesn't stick in my mind as being a particularly great or particularly awful set. I got congratulated by the comedians when I came off stage, so I did fine. I didn't look... I think that what happens, why people bomb and have a terrible experience their first time, that usually happens if they don't have any kind of public speaking experience at all. So they don't have comfort being on stage, and then add into that the nervousness of trying out new material and trying to make people laugh and shit like that, right? I was already more relaxed on stage because of doing theater growing up and doing speech team and just always being fairly interested and into speaking, public speaking and doing it. I've always had a whatever talent, whatever. I've always had a natural ability to do that, and always had an interest in it. So I didn't have to fight that kind of thing when I was going up there. That's why so many people are terrible when they start out. They just don't have any experience with public speaking. And they have to learn it all. They're learning it in little 5-minute chunks as they go to open mics, and so development takes a while. So I had that on my side, that I wasn't going up there being a complete incompetent, scared by the stage lights, never heard my voice through a microphone before kind of guy. I already had that kind of thing, so I didn't fall apart in that way. As far as the material, I talked about my heart attack. I was talking about real life stuff, true stuff, and making it amusing, and since it's kind of a funny story, it worked out all right. I only had 3 minutes, too. 3 minutes is not a lot of time.
Is 3 minutes a
Seems like
typical
a ton of time if you don't know what you're doing.
Is that how much time you typically have at an
That
open
is the
mic?
first, some open mics, this was at Crackers, so the first time you go up at Crackers, you get 3 minutes, after that you get 6 minutes. So I had, my first time was alright, I felt like, yeah, I love it, and then I had a few sets where like, and then I started trying and wasn't just doing the story stuff, but it was trying to work out jokes. I had to learn a lot of stuff about like that type of joke writing. I'd always written funny stuff, funny stories, essays and everything, but that stuff doesn't really translate as well to the stage unless it's in a comedy club type setting. This one great thing I love about the storytelling show is that you don't have the pressure to get a laugh every 10 or 20 seconds or whatever. As long as you're interesting, people will listen. And then if you do have some good funny bits, when you get to them, sometimes that laugh can be more rewarding because you've brought people along on this thing and then you get a nice laugh and then you continue. So I like that. But have you almost died ever?
I hydroplaned and then almost made it to the other side of the highway, the opposite direction, but then did not, and the car was totaled. The airbags didn't deploy, so I think there was a very weak almost dying.
How about you, Jared?
Man. A lot of times.
Same as this?
No.
No? From just doing the dangerous shit you normally do?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You got any tattoos, Radomir?
I have no tattoos.
Now, is there a reason behind that?
I don't know. I don't like the idea of getting a tattoo because I can't imagine an image I would always like.
Yeah.
I would probably always like having a dragon and some fire and an explosion. Maybe the dragon's holding a machine gun, and that could be like a full body tattoo
I
from
can't
like
see you ever outgrowing that.
shoulder to leg. Right, that's been a thing that I've
Dragon with
been
a
liking.
machine gun.
Dragon holding a machine gun. I've wanted this tattoo for 4 years, so I think that's pretty
Now,
much.
do you know what gun you have in mind? Is it like an AK-47 or
It's like
an Uzi?
M16, so just a nice.
So like a serious.
Yeah, just full body.
I like that you go with the M16. You're like, I'm a fucking American. No AK for me, motherfuckers.
Well, the M16 seems to be easy because it's mostly just a matte finish. It's a tubular gun.
M16s tend to jam. Apparently, do you want your dragon having a gun that's going to jam?
It won't jam.
The one that's these more popular. Well, it won't because it's tattooed.
Right.
Get that.
I could have a jammed M16 with the dragon trying to figure it out.
Wow, he's getting stabbed in the heart by some knight. I mean. Is he gonna die?
No, I think he's just a dragon blowing some fire and fixing a jammed M16.
Oh, man.
This is something I don't think I could outgrow.
This could be an amazing tattoo.
I've talked to several tattoo artists about this. One said that he would do it for $50 an hour.
Let me stop you right there. I think
Why are we stopping tattoo talk?
because I just want to say, don't get tattoos for $50 an hour. Don't do that.
How much should it cost? I have no idea.
It should vary, but I would at least pay $100 an hour, even if
So
at
50 is not
least-
enough.
No.
That means that's a person who's not going to be put.
Well, what about the baseline? Because
No.
I've seen him sketch some tattoos and he's very good. And I was thinking maybe he could do the base.
He was giving him a friendly price. If someone you know is doing it,
I would pay them their set price. You don't want friendship hookups on tattoo. You don't want any kind of a hookup except for the art and the application
you don't want
to be
give
excellent.
them any reason to cut corners.
Exactly. They need to care about the whole thing the whole time. And from my
They
experience,
can't be saying in their head, I'm only making $50 an hour for this. What do I care?
exactly.
Or it would be many,
Now-
many hours.
Now, Radomir.
Yes. Pete.
Raised in an Eastern Bloc nation like you were, does this sort of capitalist argument, does that resonate with you at all?
Let me explain.
Maybe I do need to pay them more in order to get work out of them.
On Wikipedia,
Sure.
I read that Serbia is actually not an Eastern Bloc country.
What's Serbia?
Well, Serbia
You Russian son
is...
of a bitch.
Yeah, Serbia is part of former Yugoslavia, which was never part of the USSR. And you can see nations today that were part of the USSR.
Okay, you're splitting hairs, you commie bastard. Do you or do you not accept his argument?
Yeah, well, even though I was born in a communist country, it wasn't communist for long and after my birth, and things exploded.
I'm just saying, I have always been tattooed by people who are personal friends of mine, and I have always paid them at their hourly rate and tipped accordingly on top of that at the end. You don't want to mail in
A full body dragon explosion gun
any
fire
tattoo.
Right.
Any tattoo. They don't come off easily.
Should you be willing to pay more to have them
Absolutely.
removed?
Because for some reason I'm just envisioning Trogdor with a very nice gun.
What's wrong with that? That sounds good to me.
Trogdor is a staple of pop culture.
Yeah, and that's a $50 an hour tattoo to me.
I mean, that would actually,
Isn't there nothing wrong
for
with
some
that?
people, that's a fine tattoo.
Oh, okay. So then there's some tattoo classism going on here.
It's not classism. I
understand. So
you
you're
can
stuck in your world.
There's a lot of reasons a lot of people get a lot of tattoos. There's a lot of reasons people do it.
Mostly
That's
to
too
cover
vague.
up other tattoos.
Let's
Sometimes.
close in on that.
Sometimes.
Let's get into the fewer reasons of which you know that one would get a full body dragon gun explosion fire tattoo.
Because there's some kind of emotional connection to the imagery. Another would be for a feeling of like control, so for a feeling of control over one's own body. Another reason someone might get a tattoo would be the large dragon holding a gun. You know, some people, when they get tattoos, they're flippant about it. They don't really put thought into it, and that's kind of...
Some are drunk.
Some are drunk, sure, but I'm saying some people, whatever I feel, that's what I'm going to get. And so it would just be like a carefree choice.
Especially as we have some arguably sober people who want full body dragon fire explosion gun tattoos. Peter, do you have any tattoos?
I do not.
Do you want some?
Not really.
So you guys are getting in.
I don't really care about tattoos. What? Getting in? What do you mean?
Oh, getting into heaven because we haven't modified the bodies
heaven?
God gave us.
No monotheism for us.
So, Peter, thank you for being on our show.
Oh, I feel like I haven't been.
It was a pleasure, and you might not be.
Depending on the edit. Are you going to visit our website, unwantedsound.com?
Me?
Yes.
I go there every day. It's my
Fantastic.
homepage. When I turn on my computer, go online, immediately the first thing that comes up is, what is it again?
Unwanted Sound.
Unwanted Sound is the first thing that comes up every single day.
It's a light
That's
page.
what I
It
do.
loads quickly.
It does. It's great.
It works on mobile, on desktop.
I've heard all of these good things about it.
Do you have an Instagram?
All you have to do is press a button, they bring food to your door.
Unwanted Sound has an
Right.
Instagram.
At Unwanted,
Unwanted
Sound?
Sound is an Instagram?
Yeah, you should follow us on Instagram.
You guys are on Tinder and
Not yet
Grindr
Tinder.
Not Tinder.
Not yet Grinder.
and
Not yet.
Cupid.
No, not
No.
yet.
You're going to check out Bumble so you can get some ladies through that.
Maybe
Are you
Bumble.
guys on Grubhub, DoorDash? No?
That would be pretty cool.
I hope you'll invite me on again.
You're welcome to come on anytime.
I won't, but I hope
but I
you'll
would like
invite
to be
me.
invited.
It's nice to be invited places.
It is. And it was a pleasure having you on.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Unwanted Sound, a podcast by two grown men in Indianapolis featuring a universal comic who is also a grown man from Indianapolis. Catch us on Facebook, Twitter, MySpace,
LinkedIn?
Newspace. Not LinkedIn, not yet.
Oh, we also don't have a MySpace account.
We need one of those.
We're on iTunes and Google Play Music.
Oh, wow.
We're syndicated. How are you gonna... Oh, okay. So loud.
Thanks for inviting me on, guys.
Yeah, thanks for doing it.